is the third edition of the Hotel Expo Nigeria in partnership with Singleton, and I'm sure it's going to be amazing. We have other sponsors. I would also like to use this medium to thank them. It's brought to you by DSTV Business, MTN Nigeria, Interswitch, Mochaform, Nescafe, Nestle Pure Life, Local Way Lakes, and many more. I'm sorry I can't call all of the names, but we have so many sponsors, and if you go right after the conference session, you would see them outside. Also, we have the media sponsor, Cool FM, Nigeria Info, Smooth FM, Lore FM, and all of that.
I think this is a good time to put your hands together for Iriteme Aduke, and that applause should keep going till she gets to the stage. Now, my next panelist, also the same enthusiasm, I would like you to also welcome her. I'll be reading her bio as well. Again, as I said, I'm taking my time to do this, also because I know the brochures haven't yet arrived, but it will give you a sense of where the conversation will go. So please join me in welcoming Funke Olushoga Ogunlade, also known as Funke O. She's a hospitality and customer experience consultant with over a decade of hands-on experience and has graced her way through the ranks with excellence. Ladies and gentlemen, please shake the roof, raise the roof, give her a warm round of applause as we welcome Funke Olushola Ogunlade, aka Funke O. Great. So I'll start the conversation with looking at customer service in Nigeria. And I would say in the last 6 months, so on a scale of 0 to 100, 100 being the highest, how would you rate the customer service experience in Nigeria?
To answer your question, the service industry in the past few months has been very peculiar. I think a lot of people were recovering from COVID and the pandemic and the situation that was happening there, and we saw that there was a little bit of a decrease in attention to detail, just because people were not really expecting so much, because obviously a lot of the hospitality industry was closed. But as we are now transitioning back into regular life, I'm realizing that the service has not picked up. I'll use Lagos as a focal point. I find that a lot of new restaurants are open, and I'm sure everyone knows that maybe like 700 restaurants have opened in PIN alone. But I don't think that the service is as good as it used to be, and I think we definitely could do better.
So 0 to 100, where would you put Nigeria or Lagos?
I would say that we went from maybe like 65 to like 45.
Okay,
yeah,
fair enough. Looking at the issue of COVID, do you agree that there's a downward trend, and how would you describe the experience in the past 6 months?
All right, thank you so much, Isabella, and thank you so much, everyone, for being here. It's an honor to be here. Just like Teme had said, I agree that there's been a decline, because what is happening now in a lot of places is that people are just trying to catch up from where they're coming from with the heat of COVID. So it's almost like now, they feel like they can still be risk coming. So we don't know if COVID is going to come back again. So do we want to put all of this money in here? Do we want to keep training people that might leave tomorrow? And then we see this thing as well that is the trend now. Everybody's leaving the country. So people are not even trying to, improve service. It's almost like, let's just do the barest minimum at this point because of the uncertainty. So for me, it's a decline, because at some point, myself and a lot of my colleagues had, done a lot. I mean, women in hospitality and a group of other people just trying to push this thing called service, saying, look, it can be better, guys. And then COVID hits, and then it's almost like we're back, and then we're trying to get it back up again. And this cuts across other industries. So this is not just a hospitality thing, but really, really big in hospitality.
So how big an issue was COVID really? Because some would say, well, COVID was a time to get things right, to improve on customer service, because then you didn't have the fancy decor, you didn't have the Instagram pictures, you really just had to give good service and a good product.
So I'll just jump on that question. So I think that is actually the problem. A lot of places, especially it's across the world, I don't think a lot of people don't pay a lot of attention to the product. It's more about the perceived product. So a lot of people are doing a lot of social media marketing. A lot of people are putting a lot of money into aesthetics, but that's pretty much it. Now, when you take all of that fanciness away from you, what do you have? Your product. So you find that a lot of restaurants folded, a lot of businesses shut down because they didn't have the structure, they didn't have a contingency plan for growth. There was no collateral. I say, okay, if this doesn't work, this works. Your staff obviously are not feeling like they're assured. So yeah, COVID it was an eye opener, and it kind of made everything naked. It brought everything to the front. So if you were not doing a good job in your business, COVID will bring it out. So I think COVID really brought a lot of things to the forefront, and it's kind of like we don't really want your business because it's not that great. Yeah.
Okay. So, Fukel, will you say that for a long time everything was packaging and not real quality products and services?
So we have people that have money and just set up restaurants, and their intention really is not to provide service. It's almost like I also have a restaurant kind of thing. So it's not even to provide service. They're not. It becomes a guest house. Like we joked earlier. So some people set up hotels, and there's just that. Oh, I have a hotel, and then when my guests are around, they can be there. So it's not about the service for them, you know. So I would say there's a lot of packaging right now. There's a lot of packaging. She's right. We're in an era where it's about pictures, the gram. Where are you taking pictures? What are you putting on Facebook? What are you putting out there? We've seen situations where people take pictures on cars that don't belong to them, houses that don't belong to them. I mean, so it's about the pictures, about what people are perceiving you to be or who they are perceiving you to be. So there's a lot of packaging now without substance. And for me, I say a lot that the service industry is about service. That's why we're in the service industry.
So I think one of the things that I advise my mentees or students who are coming into the industry is, first of all, identify what route you want to take. So if you're looking to go into, for instance, you want to be the general manager of a hotel, you can have your soft skills, your interpersonal skills as well, but there's some other skills that you need to acquire. So are you a project manager? You need some financial skills. Unfortunately, I don't know how a lot of people miss that, but you need to be financially literate if you want to be a general manager. If you're going operationally, you have to understand how to project manage. You have to be able to have some HR skills as well. But if you're going into a restaurant business, you also have to understand about food management, food science. You have to understand about portion control. You need to understand about how you're going to do your menu engineering, etc. So I think the first port of call is figure out what aspects of the hospitality industry that you want to go into. Obviously, you need these soft skills, the interpersonal skills, being patient, being understanding of service, etc. But also what you initially want to end up as, you need to figure that out, and then you can fine tune it.
Yeah, it's like Stephen Covey says, begin with the end in mind, and then you're able to build the requisite skills. So do we have more?
Sorry,
okay,
just to add to that also, I would also say networking skills, because that got me a long way. I used to be a massive LinkedIn stalker, and I'm sure for every hospitality professional that's in the building, I probably visited your page at some point or checked you out on Instagram. I actually became friends with her on Instagram because I stalked her. But I think that networking skills is very important, especially in our industry, because it can get you further along than just sitting and waiting on sending out your CVs, to be honest.
I've learned that hospitality is family, it's passion, is integrity, and it's just doing what you know how to do best and building this personal relationship with your customer.
I'm glad I'm here today. I took some few things away from here, from our speakers. She said, one of them said that service delivery is not about packaging alone. It is about service delivery that commensurate with your perception, with the perception that you present to people. So I think that's quite amazing. It's nice.
I've learned today that availability and big sourcing of your product will ensure brand sustainability. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think that's a
That was a great one for them. And that was the first panel session with the topic Common Service Delivery Flaws and the Solution. I'd like to thank our speakers for coming up here with the whole traffic and everything. Also, the beautiful Isabella, our moderator for today. Thank you so much.
My name is Funke O. I'm a hospitality and customer experience expert, and I'm here as one of the speakers at the panel. So we talked about service and service in the hospitality industry and how we can make it better.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Funke, for giving us special time out of your time. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Anita Maduke. I'm the CEO of Hospitality Groundworks. I'm here today as a speaker on the panel, and it's been amazing.
What little advice would you give to small, business owners that are just trying to enter the hospitality community? What would you say to them?
Okay, well, especially in the season of the pandemic, I would say be patient. I say that it's a fruitful business, but you just need to be patient to actualize your dreams. Sometimes it's slow burning in the beginning, but at the end of the day, if you create a sustainable business, it's a business that can last for years and years and years. If you look at the Marriotts and the McDonald's and Burger King and KFC that have now come into our market, you find that these are international brands, but us as Nigerian, we can create indigenous brands that can actually grow, like Eco Hotel, etc., that can be scaled up, it's worth the while, do you know what I mean? But I would say definitely be patient, and then you'll actualize it.
Wow, so if you're listening, small business owners, Mrs. Ini here has just given you an amazing consultation, free of charge. So be patient, and you get your business done. Thank you so much.
Coming up, we'll be having MTN live presentation, but they will be coming up right now. But the next session, this is for our tech lovers. I mean, tech is evolving and people are, going into tech space. In fact, we ladies are even looking for the tech guys. But right now, the session coming up is the topic enhancing customer satisfaction using technology. That will be the discussion for this next session, and it will be moderated by our convener in the person of Joe Hansen. I hope he's here. Mr. Joe Hansen, if you're here, please come up stage because you will be moderating this session. And the amazing speakers are also around. Yes, we have amazing speakers also here. So Mr. Joe Hansen, wherever you are, you'll be moderating this session. Please do come over.
I want to say, please, let's put our hands together for ourselves for being here. Thank you so much. So my name is Joe Hansen. I happen to be the convener for Hotel Expo Nigeria. And it is my pleasure to welcome on stage the Senior Manager Sales, Enablement and Communication Enterprise, talking about MTN. His name is Alexander Ibere. He'll be coming on stage to show us something that we need to know, after which we would now delve into that powerful discussion as well. So the tech space is indeed a powerful one, and we do have powerful men. I know some of you will ask, where are the women? Don't worry. Don't worry. What a man or what a woman, how do they say it? What a man can do? Ladies, what a man can do. So we don't need women here now, don't you think? Let the men learn. So they will be coming here to learn as well as share. Please, let's put our hands together as I make welcome Alexander Ibere, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. So it's a pleasure to be here. And I'm going to be sharing a few things with you today. I'm not going to take too much time. I want it to be as interactive as possible. More importantly, I want us to just take a few salient points home. Time was when we used to think of technology just as a department, as a division, as something that they do. But today, whether it's work, play, and everything in between, technology plays a critical role. So we're going to be talking to you today about something we call enterprise Wi-Fi, a name we coined it. You know how after pandemic, post-pandemic, there was a time during the pandemic we were not eating out, we were not going anywhere. The hospitality industry, bore the brunt of us being indoors. But then what happened after the pandemic? Do you notice that there are more people eating out today than pre-pandemic? Or is that just something some of us seem to notice? Would you agree? So businesses are looking at ways to bounce back. You have the restaurants, you have the cafes, you have the hotels. And you know, a customer walks in. He sits down for a meal, right? And he goes. Chances are that you may never get the opportunity of seeing that customer again, yeah? So, the whole discussion today is how we can use technology to make sure that that one-time walk-in customer becomes a repeat customer, yeah? And at the end of the day, it's a win-win for everyone, okay? So let's go to the next slide. So, right now, we have what we call the gig economy. It was something we used to talk about as if it was very distant. But today, you have more people working remotely, more people determining what services they want to offer, and they can offer that to multiple organizations, yeah? So, if you notice, there are a lot more people working from restaurants and hotels. You notice that? So a lot more people are working from there. We also see that you have increased competition. When I think about the number and the type and the whole landscape for restaurants in particular, it has changed. Now, you see a lot more restaurants, not only a lot more highbrow, and the look and feel is something that they take very seriously. Do we agree? So you see the extent they go to make sure that the place is beautiful, is attractive, and all that. And what do you think is the reason for that? Anyone? Why is it that today there's a lot more glam in the places we go to eat than before? Why are the visuals so much more important than they used to be? Anyone? Yes, please. I wish I could hear you. Is there anyone else with a mic? Okay. The experience. For pictures, exactly. So now we don't just want to have a good time. We want the world to know we're having a good time, yeah? We want to share. We want people to know we're living our best lives. So all that has come to bear. So you see a lot more people working from outside. Social media, like you said, we want to interact, we want to push things out there. There's increased competition. So how do I ensure that my experience is better than the competitor? How do I ensure that people will come back to my hotel, right, instead of the many other options that they have? And at the same time, we're at a point where people value access more than ownership. I remember a time when I had a CD rack. I remember showing my kids recently some old photos. You remember the things they call CD racks, yeah? Those of us who are our age, we remember that. So back then, we wanted to buy things. We either bought the CD, we bought the track, but now everything is subscription, correct? So the mentality of the market, the mentality of the customers we serve have changed. So that's just a flavor of the market. So what is enterprise Wi-Fi? Enterprise Wi-Fi is us saying to you as a hotel owner, restaurant owner, or cafe owner, give your customers what they crave, which is Wi-Fi, which is free Wi-Fi, with the prospect that not only are they going to enjoy the Wi-Fi while they're in but you're also going to give them the opportunity that they will be the first to know all the offers, all the happy hours, all the goodies that you have to bring. Because anywhere someone goes today, you want to know that there's free Wi-Fi. You go on Instagram, and the pictures of hotels you see are pictures of people taking selfies and videos in the hotel. It's not the hotel showcasing themselves. It's your customers.
All right, so to all our guests who are here, we're going to take time out to find out what each of the brands you have here on stage have in store for you. So I'm going to start with DSTV business. Let's go straight into the market. The grammar, we don't talk am. What does DSTV business have for everyone who's seated here? Being a hotelier, being a business owner, being an investor, we have them here. What do you have for them?
Okay. I'm not sure if everyone here has asked themselves the question, why DSTV business, right? So DSTV business is a subset of DSTV. And what we do is we cater specifically to non-residential customers, right? So your Horecas sit under that portfolio. Now, Joe asked, what do we have in store for everybody here? And the answer is everything. We cater to each and every customer available, possible, whomever that customer is, be it a 10-unit hotel to a 250-unit hotel. And I'm speaking specifically to hotels because it's Hotel Expo, right? But whatever business you're into, I can assure you, and you can take it to the bank, that we have something for each and every customer. Now that is from a DSTV business perspective. If we look at it from a residential perspective, where we have different packages for different individuals, irrespective of whatever cadre you're on, we have something for you. But I would like to finish off by saying, for you to be able to enjoy that immense, unsurmountable experience, I don't want to say you can only, but I would advise that you look at getting the DSTV package. You look at getting the Explorer, that in itself is a totally different kettle of fish entirely. A lot of people say to me, I don't get to watch my DSTV as much as I would like to. That is a major problem for almost everybody here today, due to the fact that, you're probably in the office, or maybe you're on your way home, stuck in traffic. But we do have something for everyone. So right now, we've got a value add called DSTV Now, whereby you can actually watch DSTV on your devices. That speaks to all of the time when you're outside of your homes. So, Joe, to answer your question, what do we have for everyone sitting down here? Any and everything. The entertainment space is so vast that if you're a sports lover, if you're a news lover, if you love cartoons, if you love movies, whatever it is that you want to watch, we've got something for everybody.
Interesting. I think we should put our hands together for that. For those of us who watch football, Champions League, somewhere, we know. But sometimes before you watch Champions League, you have to buy one bottle. How do you pay for that bottle? What does InterSwitch have for us?
So I'll start and I'll let Tunji finish because he's the business guy. So I'll just ride on the DSTV, what he said. So we actually have a consumer app called QuickTeller where you can download, you can pay your bills, send money to as many people as you want to. If you wanted to save your money there, you can put it in the wallet there and decide whatever you want to do with it. So from a customer perspective, you can use QuickTeller today, download it it's on Android and iOS, and you can use that as a replacement to your bank app, or you can use it in conjunction with your bank app if you want to. From a business perspective, everybody wants to collect payments. That's whether you're online, you have a hotel website, or you have guests coming from all over the world, even locally to your location. So we have a multi-platform, like an omni-channel platform, where you can go today, register by yourself, and you get a website. You can request for a terminal. That's a POS device that allows you to receive both local and international transactions from the comfort of wherever you are. I'll let Tunji just...
Okay.
Thank you, Hafiz.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm interested in, I'm sure everybody's interested in that POS.
Yes. So for us, we've developed a smart POS solution that I can call the Global Master. And why am I calling it Global Master? Just mention the card type, any card in the world. Visa, MasterCard, Amex, Discover, JCB, China Union Pay. All you just have to do is make that request, fill up our indemnity, and our POS from any customer in the world, you can receive payment from there. So that's why InterSwitch is unique, different. And beyond just cards, what we've done on our POS is that we know that we have evolved from cards. Most of us don't want to be touching the terminals. So what we've done is to create other payment options. We have the pay by USSD. Like I said, just dial a set of string of numbers, whichever bank you have locally, and payment is made. The beauty of our own pay by USSD is that you can also confirm the payment on the POS terminal and generate a receipt, unlike other payment options where you'll have to begin to look for, have they confirmed payment, how do you go about it? And more importantly, we also have pay by QR code and pay by transfer. What this means is that we can, on our POS, generate what we call a temporary account number from a local bank. And once you make payment for it, it just confirms payment also by generating a receipt. Instead of waiting for, what most merchants do today is they give you a bank account number and you have to wait for alert from the owner of the account to confirm payment, and that takes a whole lot of. So what we've done is to eliminate that process, reduce TAT, and to improve customer experience. So for us as Institute, like I said, we are always working towards improving customer experience. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to start by saying thank you to the head of DSTV Business. Thank you for being here, Mr. Bayomi from Akinwa. Thank you. Also, I'd like to say thank you to the Group Head Engineering InterSwitch, Mr. Abdul Hafiz Ibrahim. Thank you for being here. I also like to say thank you as well to the businessman himself, the business manager InterSwitch, Olatunji Lasisi. Please put your hands together for them.
To you, you're into fragrance. That's what you're about. I can't help but remember a conversation from earlier, and let's talk about how fragrance affects ambience and a customer's mood.
Yeah, it definitely does. I mean, we've been in the industry now for almost a decade, and we've noticed how the trend has kind of like picked up over the past, probably I'd say 3 years. We've seen an increase in sales, an increase in people actually thinking about fragrance. It's something that is very overlooked. You know, your sense of smell is the most powerful of all of your senses. Before even what you visualize or what you see, smell is more powerful, and that's actually scientifically proven. And so I think when it comes to interior, it's about speaking. It's about the holistic experience. As you said, the human connection. If you think about, for instance, I don't know if anyone here can remember like the smell of your grandma or the smell of your mom. Like smell is so key, and I think it's sometimes so overlooked. And so what I've noticed over the past 3 years is that the trend has definitely picked up. It took a long time to educate the Nigerian market on the power of scent because nobody really got it to begin with for like years. And so it's something that over time people have started to see, you know, we're more likely to buy candles or they're more likely to think about, okay, how is the room smelling? And I think in hospitality as well, what you notice is that a lot of GMs or general managers of different spaces will notice how, for instance, their revenues increase when they add scent to, yeah, is proven.
So, how important is good interiors in public places? Now, in designing for hospitality, what are the key elements that you look at? Or look out
Uh,
for?
I think the most important thing, like what I always say when I speak to clients, sometimes I get to have meeting with clients, and someone calls me and tell me I want to build a hotel, and I ask him one question. I could design your hotel, but do you have experience in this business? And I know, what kind of hotel do you want to build? They don't know. So I think the most important thing in hospitality design is you need to understand the consumers you're designing the space for, because functionality is key. Where aesthetic is also important, but functionality is key, because if the functionality is not designed properly, you are going to spend a lot of money and not achieve the aim. Because if you look at the consumer segment right now driving the hospitality business in Nigeria, is the millennial at the moment. And if you look at this room, it's full of millennials. So if you look at shoplets, those are new development and new things that came up in Nigeria, and they're doing very well. B&B, and uh, the way you design hospitality these days to meet with the millennial generation, you have to think critically. They always want to be outside. They always want to, they are very smart, they are very tech savvy, so they don't want anything that stresses them. I remember I went to a hotel in London. It's called Citizen M. Uh, their check-in process was very seamless, and that's why I love the hotel. Immediately you entered the lobby, why you've already done your booking online. So when you come in, you just cut your card yourself, you make everything. You're not talking to anybody, and walk straight. And when I went to the lobby, it's not
Who helps you
conventional.
carry your bag?
Nobody is very seamless. And you just walk to the elevator, and the lobby is like a cafe, it's a workspace. So it's the experience is different, and you can see some of the design elements they make use of. There is natural light. People don't want to be stuck in one place. So the design trend has changed, and it's going to change a lot more. And people have to hire the right designers, to do research before designing a hospitality space. You can't just design a boutique hotel like a budget hotel. You can't just design a hotel without knowing the kind of consumer you want to attract. So hospitality designers play a very key role, but you have to pay them money to do research for you.
So, when you talk about Gladys, let me come to you. Do you think that the interiors have a direct effect on the customer?
Yes, I think so. Design is flexible right now, and everyone want to have a great stay in their home. They want to experience, they want to have they want spaces that affect their mental health, their well-being. So from their home to their office to the hotel to wherever they want to stay, they want those spaces to affect how they live. So I think we have great impact in people's life, really. We have a great impact in people's life because where you live matters a lot, and people right now are very aware of that. In fact, you have clients even trying to know almost more than you because they are well traveled. I mean, they go to places, they're like, oh, I want this, I want that. Unlike before, you almost, you are the one that know more than them. But right now, a lot of people are aware. So we have we have great impact on either hospitality, restaurants, and, every other space.
Daisy, we're talking about something earlier, and we're talking about the elements of decor. And one thing that came up, which Jeffrey has mentioned, is light. And even though he was talking natural light, there are various types of lights which you were educating me on and the purposes. Let's delve into that for a bit.
Yeah, interior designers don't really do lighting design because they have the lighting consultants for that. Some interior designers do. That's something I loved to learn, and then I ended up going into that because that's also what can makes a room have 3 4 different faces because you can change the lights, and of course it's important to understand, is it a mood light, is it a task light, and the temperature of the lights. That's connecting, like I said, in a human level, like understanding that not every day you are in the same mood, and then you might need to create different moods with their lighting. So that's why it's so important right now, lighting design in the industry.
Right. We have come to the end of this session and most likely the day. Let me say thank you to the panelists up here, Gladys Okoro, Head of Project, Brookhouse International Limited. Thank you. Daisy Smith, Creative Director, Jamona West. Thank you. Mina Emo, MD Sisika. Thank you. And Jeffrey Oduma, Principal Partner at Mayfair Design Studio. Thank you. All right. And it's a wrap.
Up the music a little bit. I'm preparing for our next guest or next artist who's going to be coming on stage to perform for us. I hope that we're having as much fun as we possibly can. Remember, this is all about mixing and having fun and exchanging contact, right? So if there's people, there's businesses here that you would like to relate with, it's okay to meet up with them, exchange numbers with them, and you know, of course, do business together sometime in the future.
Welcome on stage. Put your hands together for the moderator for the very first session, Aisha Yusuf. She is the founder, the H Hospitality Network, I should say, your one-stop for everything that has to do with hospitality. She is going to be our moderator for today. I say put your hands together for her now. Come on, there we go. Let's clap. Good.
Thank you so much for making time for this wonderful session. Welcome to the first session of the day. This session is about developing sustainable strategies for today's hotel business. Uh, I have very interesting speakers today, and I'm so delighted to ask them the questions that I feel is going to transform and help us think about the hospitality industry differently. We are here to redefine it together. So, today we're going to be talking about developing sustainable strategies for today's hospitality business. And we know that the hospitality industry has gone through quite a lot this past few years after the COVID-19 pandemic. So I'm going to, throw out a few post-COVID questions here. I'm going to start with you, Brian. Let's begin with, the business procedures. After the major wave of COVID-19 pandemic, what has the hotel business been forced to learn after the pandemic?
The pandemic was one period that brought about the need for sustainability and business continuity. So that is why you see that after the pandemic, you still have a lot of hotels that hasn't come on board. But the lesson learned in this, that the pandemic brought to all of us is that there is a need to develop business contingency and continuity plans. And then, of course, it also threw out new ways of doing business in terms of the need for more technology, AI, self-checking, up in and up out, and a lot of other operational strategy that we need to develop as a result of the pandemic. But more importantly, the biggest lesson is how can you sustain your business during a very big economic downturn or pandemic like this and all of that, so that when everything is, you are back, you are able to come back. Like in some of the hotels we manage, huge financial investments had to come in to be able to come back to life and be able to compete with other persons. That's yeah, thank you.
That's amazing. Okay, thanks. I want to, Kirk, do you feel the same way about that?
Yes, absolutely. I think he said it all. I don't need to repeat some of the things that he said, but yeah, it forced us to, in the hospitality industry, to reflect on what could happen if, because it impacted us the most in hospitality compared to any other industry. And it put the general managers and the HODs in positions where they all have to put their minds together, come up with better ways to be um, to, to enhance the experience, at the same time also wanting to make sure that the business is sustainable after the pandemic reopens. So it forced us to make decisions where we normally would have not done that, because we were in a comfort zone before that. And we also noticed in the hospitality industry what was necessary, what was not necessary. And that also made us question again, what is it that the customer actually needs?
We're aware that COVID-19 is not over, right?
Yes.
In your opinion, what are the ways to mitigate risk in the hospitality business? Now, if you were to add it with the previous question and this, how do you now mitigate those risks?
Okay, so thank you, Aisha, for that. I will be speaking from our perspective. Radisson Blue Anchorage Hotel in Victoria Island, we were very, very blessed to stay open throughout that period. And that was as a result of a whole range of things, but very important were networks and partnerships. We're able to secure very strategic um, deals with certain corporates we'd built relationships with over time, so that we changed our business model from being a typical short stay hotel to practically a a long stay hotel. And on top of that, we have like standard as being part of an operate of a global operating chain, which is the Radisson brand. There are certain procedures and protocols they already had in place that made it possible for us to localize. And that went from the safety standards we put in place from check-in, and safety and security was paramount. We made sure the guests felt safe, because even at that time during COVID, and even now, safety is something that everyone is it's very important. And so at the hotel, what is important to us is safety, security, ambiance, the range of food, culinary offerings, So you know that when you come, there's a certain standard that other hotels will not be able to give you. And so that's what we focused on in the past, and we keep on focusing on in the future.
It's not an easy thing, you know. So when we go back, for example, when we look at January, February, and the first 2-3 weeks of 2020, it was the most spectacular months we had for forever, and we're saying, okay, this would be the rest of the year. Thank you very much. The bonuses in the bank, the shareholders are happy, everything is okay, and then everything stops. So then you have to take a few decisions regarding what you're going to do. In the beginning, we thought that this would last until June. It would be 2 months, 1-2 months, and then we're getting over it. And then it started extending, So, few things that we did is, first of all, you have to have the grit, and you have to have the perseverance to continue and push through, no matter how long it takes. That's very important. Second thing is, you have to look at your clients. You have to see at the long-term people, the long-term relationship you have established, like Moyo said. Definitely something that Nigeria and the circumstances in Nigeria have forced us to do is to take care of our people, okay? Because worldwide, especially in the Western world, this was the role of the state. Here, the state was not; it was absent during COVID. Sorry to say that. So we had to take care of our people. So the recovery process afterwards, it was much faster in Africa and in Nigeria than it is in the Western world. The Western world still is suffering from employing staff. They cannot find people to be employed. People don't want to be employed. You know, the mentality has changed. A lot of things have affected the human psyche during COVID. In Nigeria, I think the transition was very easy. I don't think any hotel has suffered from finding staff or continue with that. So it's the three aspects. You know, you have to take care of the business, you know, be gritty. You have to take care of your customers no matter what. You don't reduce your standards. You don't reduce actually you improve them and you increase them during this period, and it's an opportunity for you to do so. And you have to take care of your people.
Thank you so much. Please, a round of applause for this beautiful panel. Speakers. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being here. I hope you have a great session. Thank you.
To set up properly or to set up well is hard. Remember I said to set up is not hard, right? But to set up well, it's hard. And then to run it profitably and sustainably, it's even harder. So how do you set up? So recommendation, the team of the first part of the masterclass say must know. So the first must knows include one, the people you want to service, the people who are going to lodge in the hotel, people who will buy your food as your restaurant, people who will come to your club as clubbers, and the rest of the hospitality businesses. Do you know their needs? Not knowing their need is recipe for disaster. So you must first identify what their needs are. And then the second one is to know their pain points. I can have a need, but I will find a way around it. Now, if I have a need, and for me to get the solution to that need, I must pass through a process. That process is the pain point.
Okay, so he did mention that Chef Yinks, that's what his friends and colleagues call him, and I've attached myself there, not a stranger anymore. I'm talking about Olayinka Eboda. He is, for want of a better description, I'll just go ahead and say he's a food service consultant and the lead faculty culinary arts and patisserie at the Hospitality Business School, Lagos. He's also a professionally trained chef, as you will see in a few minutes.
For you to claim to be a chef, you have to be able to show us how to make a good meringue. And what does it take to make a meringue? One of the things that you need is fresh eggs. All right, so I guess we know how to test if our egg is fresh. Put it in a glass of water. The other thing you want to know is As you're making your meringue, of course, there are different types. You have the French, you have the Italian, and then you have the cooked meringue. But today's class, we're going to be making the very basic meringue, all right? And then what we'll be using as a stabilizer is cream of tartar. One of the things you also want to do when you're making your meringue is to make sure that your bowls are squeaky clean.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here for CEO Talks. We'll try as much as possible to make this conversation very, very, very light and easy because let me ask, who wants to be a CEO here? Who wants to be a CEO here? If I see you already, don't put your hands up. Oh. That means you want to run from your company. All right, so some hands are up. That means some of us just want to work for the CEO, right? So who wants to be a CEO here? Okay, nice. That's good. So let's just test our microphones. If they're working, you could move the head any way you want to.
Hello.
Okay, that's fine.
Hello.
Good. One more.
Hello. Okay.
Great. So we can just leave it on that way. All right, so I'm going to start off first. Let's talk about the theme. We're looking at post-pandemic. We're looking at strategies. A lot of us here are going to learn from you. And please feel free to share your secrets. That many people will say, pay 2,500 naira for my seminar. Or buy this book for $15,000. I have all the secrets inside of it. We're not paying anything. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we want to get it here. So let me start off first with the first question. What was the first move your brand made? I mean, during the COVID-19 pandemic period, that era, when the outbreak came up, it affected a lot of us. It affected Hotel Expo Nigeria. We couldn't hold the event in 2020, 2021. I'll start with you, Wumi. What was the first thing that you made? What was the first move you made?
It was a scary time. So, I mean, when I think back, well, first of all, we had to think about following all of the COVID protocol. At the time, no one really knew what it meant. So, first of all, it was the diffusers, face masks, just the typical what everybody did. And being an exclusive space, private space, it worked perfectly for us because we were even fully booked at the time. So we had to stop traffic immediately, shut down. The restaurant was shut down immediately. Same with the spa. And then the staff who were on ground had to stay in permanently. So we were there for 3 months at a stretch without leaving, So it's not as though it was planned. It was just a decision that we took at that moment. And at the end of the day, it was about the guests, because traffic, seeing people coming in and out was already scary for everyone. So that was it. That was what we did.
And one of the things, because we had a lot of long-stay guests, we had some long-stay guests in the hotel, we couldn't turn them down, we had to support them. But what we then did was we asked ourselves, what can we do, to optimize what we're doing? Staff morning, we had to do that. But also in-house, we introduced some offerings, some innovative offerings. We had a drive-through. So we introduced our drive-through event and we advertised that online. A lot of, we're very strong on social media. We also tracked what social media was doing and the learnings from that. And we saw that there was need for, people were looking for, spaces, unique spaces that spoke to them. And so we also relooked our leisure, what it was about, and we brought out some more leisure offerings. But we were mindful of the fact that this was not a time to have big gatherings and all. So what we just did was, stay connected, kept in touch with our long-stay guests, brought out new offerings, that was the time we did our drive-through cinemas, so you could stay in your car. We advertised that online. You came in with your car, you were there, you watched the movies, but you didn't come out, so you were safe.
we also advertise online our drive-through laundry, so you could drop off and pick off your clothes. But it also helped us, the few staff we kept on, because we did some staff manning, we kept on, we're able to, use them effectively. And then very strong social media presence. We continue to advertise because we knew that it would not last forever. And we wanted to come out strong, top of mind of people. But most importantly, we also wanted to have reacted to the trend well and to be on top of the new trends. And finally, we used that time to obviously learn. And so just at the end of the pandemic, we were able to launch the new digital platform, which is Aura by Transcorp Hotels.
So what we did in that space, of course, is our B2B business was pretty much dead. Within a week of COVID, we pretty much ramped up an online sales presence. Most of our business is ice cream, so we started to sell ice cream online. And that was really an eye-opener for us, because initially people had not ordered ice cream online. What they did and order from us was totally different. We do equipment, we do stuff like that. So we pivoted within a week, set up a new website, and we start to sell ice cream online. Fortunately for us, we also launched a new product, a non-dairy product in that period for lactose intolerance people, and we were quite surprised with the results. So yeah, quick pivot online was how we survived.
Interesting. So we've learned something from the CEOs here, that despite the pandemic, they still found a way around it.
Okay, so to save our time, we're just going to go straight into the session. Now, this session, in case I didn't mention before, we're going to be discussing promoting hospitality and tourism as drivers of industries. Basically, what we do is we're going to be having a talk about promoting hospitality. As you know, these people are well grounded in that field, so it's safe to say that we're in safe hands. Do we agree? Once again, ladies and gentlemen, to lighten the mood, a round of applause for our panelists. Thank you very much. Okay, so I'm just going to go straight to asking you the questions, and I'm going to ask one question for everyone, but so the first question, I'm going to be starting with Chiamaka, aka the social prefect. All right, so Chiamaka, I'm going to start by asking you, what are the challenges you have faced personally in promoting local tourism?
Okay, so my name is Chiamaka Obwekwe, aka Social Prefect, and I'm the founder and CEO of Social Prefect Tours. We're a full-service Nigerian tourism company, and we specialize in group tours, private tours, team bonding, corporate retreats, and so much more. And also, we have a booth here, an exhibition booth, so please come to A4. Shameless plug. Anyways, okay, so the challenges faced in promoting local tourism. So when we started my company 7 years ago, we basically started with local tourism, and we used to explore all the beautiful sites in Nigeria, from Bauchi to Abeokuta to Erinjesha, waterfalls in Osun State to Ekiti, Kogo to Warm Springs, so many beautiful places in Nigeria. In fact, all the way to Kaduna, Jos, we used to go all the way. And, it was quite interesting. 7 years ago, you could take a bus from either Lagos or Abuja to any of these places I mentioned, and it was beautiful. People used to have so much fun, take amazing pictures, and people did not believe that this was Nigeria. However, something started happening, and actually, it had been happening a long time ago, but insecurity challenges became more prominent in Nigeria, and this is the major challenge that we have in promoting local tourism. I mean, why not? Why do we all go abroad? Why do we go to Dubai? Why, by the way, we promote all those countries. My company does international trips, so I'm not, saying anything against that. However, I'm saying that for we Nigerians who travel often and travel a lot, we're also meant to explore our own country, and there's so many challenges, but the major challenge is the security challenge, and we can't go to so many places because of this issue, So right now, all those places that we used to explore before, those places that we found very attractive and we used to have so much fun in before, we can't go there again because of these challenges.
All right, so Toby, I'm going to throw the same question at you. You are a visual artist, and you basically focus on creating an image of
places and destination. You're a destination photographer.
Yes.
So what would you say your own challenges have been when it comes to these things?
I think the challenges are pretty similar in the sense that you need to see what you're capturing before you actually capture it.
Yeah.
And also you actually need to get there before you are able to do any sort of thing. I, for one, planned to do like a Nigerian tour sometime last year / 2019. And insecurity was sort of like a very big challenge for me because I had made all these plans and all of a sudden people are getting kidnapped in just Lagos-Ibadan Expressway here. And that is very close to home basically for me. So yeah, insecurity, poor maintenance as well because you want to capture something and it doesn't look good. And you may resort to like manipulating things. And as a photographer or a visual artist, I shy away from manipulating things because I want you to come and see it as it is and experience it as well. So yeah, definitely maintenance is a very poor thing. I remember going to Obudu Resort and the place is just desolated. A lot of things are just not working out and I feel like the government can actually do a whole lot more to improve and fund most of these places. But yeah, definitely those are like the main challenges for me.
All right, thank you so much. Toby, a round of applause, please. Now, Abimbola, you're a travel entrepreneur. Would you say there are any challenges different from what they have mentioned?
I think Chiamaka did justice to that question. The only thing I'd want to add to that is the fact that, as regards the challenges local tourism faces in Nigeria, and this is coming from a travel consultant's perspective. We have a lot of clients on a daily basis saying, look, I don't want to go. I'm even talking about Nigeria tours for Nigerians, not even talking about people coming from outside. We fellow Nigerians wanting to explore Nigeria. So this is first-hand issues that they have. Something as little as the right personnel for this establishment. You have a situation where you're trying to do a simple booking with a certain resort and they would not even be able to get the basics right. So we lack, perhaps the government should look into maybe putting more resources into tourism training. Tourism is a course on its own in a lot of institutions. And if you have a lot of people, if they make the sector very attractive for people, a lot of people will be going to school to study, knowing fully well that there is actually a market for them out there. You know how people study, they become chartered accountants because a lot of firms are hiring. They could do that as well. This is going to improve the service levels, which is one thing a lot of people complain about. The service levels are not great in Nigeria. That's just the honest truth, without sugarcoating it. Also, a lot of technology needs to be deployed. You cannot book on a portal, say, a certain resort. Everybody knows the major search engines, Agoda and whatnot. If I want to stay anywhere in the world outside of Nigeria, I can easily book without making a single phone call. But we don't have that in Nigeria. That's something that I think is a major challenge. I've raised it with respective, when I'm maybe invited by organizations or resorts and all of that. They ask for my genuine review after staying at the property. And I tell them, this and these are things I think you should be able to look into to ease the booking process and make it attractive for people. And obviously, last but not the least, is the fact that we need to better maintain these infrastructures that we have and make it easily accessible to the teeming public. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Abimbola. A round of applause, please. Okay, so finally on this question, Sam, you are a founder and a chief explorer at TWS Global. Would you say the challenges are different from what they have mentioned, or basically the same?
Okay, thanks. One thing I'm going to add is the fact that the people that run this country, they are supposed to be the #1 marketers of Nigeria's tourism. How do I mean? Talk about the US president, talk about other African nations whereby the presidents and leaders are going on holidays. They visit destinations within their country. So when you have your president and even an incoming president going to rest in France or going for medical tourism in London, how then do I convince my young fellow Nigerian that, Omo, let's go to Ede, to Ada Golf Resort, or let's go to Legacy Resorts in Abeokuta. So for me, if the leaders of this country, from Senate President to the President to everyone, start taking their holidays and vacations seriously and start having this within the country, then our job will have been solved 50%.
Please, a round of applause for Abimbola Ebiti, Sam Adeleke, Chiamaka Obweke, and Imole Toby Balogun. Thank you so much, panelists.
Thank you.
Thank you. And a round of applause for yourselves, too, for the attention and your time. Thank you so much.
For your love, I go pay ya. For your